Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Swigs Talks Football. Excuse the voice; it is a bit hoarse. I'm sure you're probably wondering as to why it is this way. I don't know. I think it's just the time of the year. So I usually lose my voice around this time of year, anyways, at the best of times. So it wasn't from roaring at the screen against Spurs after they lost to West Ham. Although there was some words spoken, which I will not repeat here on YouTube. But yeah, so apologies for that. If you hear me going up an octave or down an octave, if you have a beagle and you hear him howling outside, I do apologize for that in advance. But that's not going to stop me from delivering this week's game week predictions. So first off, I have my notes over here, so if you see me looking down, that's where I'm going because I can't remember all the fixtures off the top of my head and the scores that I've given them. So, first off, we're going to kick things off with West Ham United hosting Sunderland. Now, like I said at the start, West Ham beat Spurs shockingly, as I actually didn't think they would. I thought Spurs would have won in my predicts I gave them. I think it was 3-1 last week out. They host Sunderland, the Black Cats, so they welcome them to their stadium. From going on paper, West Ham, could they kick on now after beating Spurs at the week last week? Maybe so, especially with Spurs now having been decimated with more injuries with Bergvall out now um, for the foreseeable future. Obviously, there's been talks of Andy Robertson coming in, which hopefully I'll have another video about my thoughts on Spurs' transfer policies and their recruitment in the next few days or two, just to see whether or not he gets over the line with that stuff, but that's irrelevant to Sunderland versus West Ham. In terms of this, I think it's going to be an actually entertaining enough game. I do think West Ham will probably be on the upward trajectory, if I can get my words out, in terms of building on the performance from Spurs. So it will be remain to be seen how well they do um, against Sunderland, who have been rather poor on the road this season. Their away form hasn't been as strong as their home form. So similarly enough, actually, to the Newcastle, funnily enough, one thing they might have in common, they're both good at home, but they're both struggle a bit away. But in terms of predictions, I'm going to go Desmond, West Ham 2, Sunderland 2. I think West Ham will kick off strong the first half, come out the gun with guns blazing. But then I think that Sunderland will probably get two late goals. But I wouldn't be surprised if West Ham kick on and win the game and build that momentum. That obviously that'll put pressure on Nottingham Forest then, who play later on in the day. So it'll be remain to be seen who basically gets the 3 points. So it is. So yeah, so I'm gonna go West Ham 2, Sunderland 2 as well. Desmond. Next up we have Burnley versus Spurs. Burnley faced Liverpool last week. Excuse me, one sec. My nose is sniffly. Burnley hosted or they went to Anfield last week and put in a very good performance. I thought very sturdy, very Burnley-esque, if you will. I thought they created some good chances, especially in the last few, 10, 15 minutes of the game. With Marcus Edwards, he looked like a live wire. In fairness to him, so I felt like Henry Burnley were unlucky to probably not take home 3 points, but um, they did put in a decent enough performance. They host Spurs. Now Spurs obviously lost last weekend to West Ham, put in a great performance against Dortmund during midweek. The likes of Beinfeld coming on for his debut at only 17, looking like a really good midfielder, but obviously he's only 17 years old. Jet Spence playing out left wing. Be interesting to see if Frank goes with him now at left wing, or obviously we have Souza coming in, but he's probably going to go out on loan. Be interesting to see how Spurs shape it up. Maybe Matisse Tell probably. I think Matisse Tell will go back out to the left wing, Moani up top then. Um, as Tell has been rested during the week because he was wrongfully left out of the squad. Maybe Moani actually not out on top will go to Solanke in that sense because Big Dom is back for that. So, tough game for both. I think. I think Burnley are good at home. It was good enough for where they're at, I suppose. But I do think Spurs will have too much for them, and I am predicting a 2-1 win to Tottenham. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how Gallagher gets on as well. That's one of my notes. I'd be interesting to see how he gets on well. Obviously, he's rested as well, or because he was left out of our Champions League squad. So it'll be interesting to see how the energized bunny is going to be for this fixture. Next up, we've Bournemouth and Liverpool. Uh, I predict this is going to be a good game. Interesting game to say the least. Will be interesting to see if Bournemouth field Ryan, who signed from Vasco da Gama in Brazil for I think it was 35 million pounds or euros. I don't know, but it was 35 million. I presume euros. No, I presume pounds. Sorry, 35 million pounds. Um, so it'll be interesting to see will he get a debut against good Liverpool side who seem to be kind of putting in better performances. They had a good 3-0 win in the midweek against Marseille. They looked a lot more of an attacking threat, especially Frimpong on the right seems to be really doing as well as Sabazlai, who had a stunning free kick, really, really nice free kick against Marseille. But in terms of outputs and who's going to win, I do think Liverpool will have enough, so they'll win 3-1 against the Cherries. Next up, Fulham and Brighton. Now, as of this recording, Fulham have sold Adama Traore, funnily enough, to West Ham for about £2 million. So he's gone from there. We'll be interested to see how he gets on with West Ham. But from a Fulham side point of view, I think they have been showing a bit more quality as of late. I do think that they have been doing well. I'm just going to see how they got on last week. Fulham, oh yeah, well, that completely contradicts my point because they lost to Leeds. But Leeds have been a decent side nonetheless. In terms of Brighton, look, steady Eddies. They played Bournemouth last week, wasn't it? It was a entertaining game to say the least in terms of the goal. At the young 18 was he Costelos scored that overhead kick, which was lovely to see. Lovely to see for himself getting on the score sheet there. But I do think this will probably be a little bit not it won't be a snooze fest, but it will be just a typical mid-table clash, probably just a draw. A nice cheeky 1-1 for each team on that. Next up, we've Man City versus Wolves. Haaland will be looking to sink his teeth in as they were battered off the park. In my opinion, from Bodo Glint in the midweek, 3-1 defeat there. So I think Pep will have Man City raring to go. They will come out the blocks straight into fifth gear, no messing. I think they'll dismantle Wolves. If I'm being honest, I think Haaland will be savage. Foden and Semenyo, be interesting to see will he start Cherky or maybe he'll drop Semenyo, put Cherky on. Well, obviously Semenyo's out injured as well. So it'll be interesting to see how City go, but I am going with a big scoring here, a good 5-1. I think I'm going to go City 5-1. Mainly hoping because I've triple captained Haaland, so I kind of fingers crossed for that he does do the business. But yeah, 5-1 City. I think they'll make quick work of Wolves, and that'll be that. Rolling on then to London, down south, we're going to Palace v Chelsea. Both teams seeming to be Chelsea, middle of the road. Palace seem to be on the decline as of late. You have the likes of Mark Gahey, who's just left for Man City. Glasner's going to be leaving at the end of the summer. Mateta is wanting to leave now. Currently, with Juventus and AC Milan sniffing around him, but they probably won't be able to stump up the cash of the asking price of 40 million quid that Steve Harris wants for the striker. Spurs should be in for him, but that's a separate video altogether. And so, yeah, be interesting to see how they get on against so a defeated, not a defeated because they're not, but a very struggling Crystal Palace hosting Chelsea, who look from what I've seen of Rossini since he's gone in, he seems to have built up a really good relationship with the players already, and so I can see that probably translating onto on-field success, as well as just Palace having a inferior squad and definitely now and an inferior attacking threat going forward against Chelsea. So I do think it'll be probably an end-to-end game, but I do think Chelsea will win 2-1 in the end. Next up, Villa and Newcastle. So Newcastle hosting Villa. Obviously, Tammy Abraham has just signed as of since yesterday from I think it was Besiktas, so he's back with Aston Villa, where he had a hugely successful loan spell when they were in the Championship. So he's going to be now probably looking to kick on, maybe strike up another partnership with Ollie Watkins. Be interesting to see how Emery sets him up. Whether or not he'll get a debut this weekend for that game against Newcastle, who themselves had a great win in the midweek in the Champions League. Seems like they are really good at trying to get a result when they are playing a lesser side, I would say. So it'd be interesting to see how they'll go up now against Aston Villa, who, by all accounts, have probably come down a little bit in terms of their title charge, but they're still within it, still within it. They're not out of it completely. But I do think with the likes now of bringing Tammy Abraham in, and maybe Newcastle maybe needed. I know there's talks that they want to sign a centre half, but they probably whether or not they'll get one in before the window ends remains to be seen. In order to partner up with Chow, who's been excuse me, probably their best the best defender this year. I would say next to Harvey Barnes, who's been their best attacker in terms of goals, and I think this will actually be a really entertaining game. So I'm actually going to go with a 3-all draw. I do think it'll be goals galore. I'm hoping it'll be goals galore, maybe. But yeah, I think it'll be a really, really good game to watch, and be interesting to see how both sides set up. Next up, we have Brentford and Forest. Brentford look like a team really, really strong, great confidence. Keith Andrews, fellow Irishman, has gone in, really done more, I'd say, than what any of us gave him credit for. So it's great to see them getting a tune out of the Brentford side, and just to even see that the likes of Thiago seems to not be stopping. Yeah, he might go a game or two without scoring, but then he'll come back and you could end up scoring three in one. You just never know really with him. Forest, on the other hand, had a really good game against Arsenal. A 0-0 draw at home is against probably the champions to be crowned is a positive result for Sean Dyche. He'll be interesting. He'll be very interested, I would say, in seeing how the West Ham Sunderland game goes. And so, with that, I do think that it's going to be an end-to-end game. But Brentford at home, it looked really, really well. I thought this season. So I'm going to go Brentford 2-1 winners in the end against Forest. That. Next up, then we have probably the biggest game of the weekend, and it's not Spurs because we've already done them. Arsenal versus United. So we have Arsenal, who have looked sensational. They looked great again midweek, beating Inter Milan, which is no small feat at all in the Champions League. That if you ask me, they made light work of them. They really did. You're getting you're a good team when Gabby Jesus is getting in on the goals. I suppose he hasn't seen a pitch in I don't know how long he was out injured, but ever since he's come back, he's looked actually quite strong. He looked a lot sharper than Gyökeres, so be able to it would be interesting to even see when the likes of Havertz is back. Will it go like Havertz, Jesus, and Gyökeres come down to third striker? Who knows? It'd be really interesting to see how Arteta lines up with that. They face off against United, who had a shocking, absolutely shocking win. Shocking in the best positive turn of phrase against Man City last week. Not one of us, I would say, even the most diehard United fan, would have even thought of them getting a draw or a result. Never mind getting a win against Man City. So credit to give the plaudits there to Carrick on that. That being said, Arsenal are a different breed. They do seem to be a different animal this season. Whether that remains to be seen that they can, I suppose, roll over United, that will be a question that only, I suppose, we as the fans will be able to see and come to the answer ourselves with that. I do think it'll be a tough game for both sides. I'm not predicting Arsenal win. I'm going to go with a 2-all draw. Only reason on that is because I think United will actually get the ball rolling. And I do think because of Carrick coming in, and you could even see in the reactions of the players, he does seem to have that genuine connection, even with the likes of, Cobby coming back in midfield. The likes of Dorgu's been really, really good. And Mbuemo's back now from AFCON, so he's another threat. I think he will cause Arsenal's defence hard times. I do. I think he'll cause them a little bit of upheaval. So it'll be interesting to see how he gets on. Be interesting also to see how the likes of Saka does. I think Saka's dropped off massively, in my opinion, this year. probably over the last 2 years. I don't think he's near enough what people are saying about being the star boy. I mean, he's good, but he's not exhibiting the likes of a star boy, be it, your Desiree Douet, your Kravitz in I know Kravitz is probably that bit older, but who else? Lamine, sure, he's just a freak anyways, and at his age. Keenan Yildiz, Nico Paz, like you've names all over Europe that are putting in good performances week in, week out and getting their stats and stuff up. Stats aren't all the be all and end all, but they do tell a lot of a player's individual performance at the end of the season. So be interesting to see how he gets on. Be interesting to see how Arteta Carrick set up. But overall, I think it'll be a really good game to watch. I am probably buzzing to look forward to that. That and the Newcastle game will be really good, I think, to watch over the weekend. And so we will see. So 2-2 draw, I think both sides would be happy enough to take that going into the next week's fixtures as well. Finally, we'll end the video on Everton versus Leeds. So a good battle, I think, of Leeds have been putting in really good performances as of late. Everton have been putting in okay performances. Everton at home have looked really strong this year. Leeds away maybe have looked a bit shakier. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not Leeds can maybe build momentum or try and get a result at the Hill Dickinson Stadium for Everton. Obviously, if the likes of Dominic Calvert-Lewin coming back to his old stomping ground, I predict he will score. It's just, I think, written in the stars. And so for that reason, I am going to go with an Everton 2-2 draw with Leeds on that. So yeah, let me know what you think. Again, sorry for the old croaker. It's a lot better than what it was yesterday. But hopefully it starts to me voice starts to come back in the next couple of days or so. Um, it's kind of good that the Spurs game isn't being televised on the telly, so I won't be losing my voice over that. But yeah, let me know what you think of the predictions that I've come up with. Let me know um how maybe skewed I am. Am I biased in one sense? Am I be giving no team any credit? Let me know what your thoughts are down below. Also, your predictions as well in the comment section below. And if you like the video, hit that thumbs up button. That would be really great. I know my thumbs look a bit wonky here. I'll get them straightened up. And yeah, so you get the thumbs up button, click that subscribe button if you enjoy the videos. As yeah, I know I've been probably work life and all that has been a little bit busier the last few weeks and stuff, so I haven't been able to upload as more frequently as I can. But hopefully now I'm in a bit more of a routine, and the predictions will hopefully constantly be done on in time for the weekends games, and then hopefully a couple of videos every now and again during the week for transfer roundups as well. So also I will have a video coming up on Spurs' recent fixture or recent transfers, touching all on the news on the likes of Souza, the possible links, to Paqueta and Robertson, and hopefully a left winger and striker will come up in the next few days or so. But stay tuned for a video hopefully on that in the next week or so, maybe. Or hopefully a couple of days. We'll see. Anyways, like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, all that jazz. Thank you everyone for watching, and I hope we've been going nearly now for 20 minutes. So if you've made it this far, give yourselves a big thumbs up, a big clap, and comment down below saying made it to the end. And hopefully, fingers crossed, Spurs can win against Burnley. Sorry for the shakiness of the laptop as well. The desk is a little bit on a teetering edge, a bit like the Tower of Pisa. So, yes, thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you all in the next one. Cheers!